The battlefield was silent after the storm of war. Smoke rose in the air. Broken ships burned in the distance, and the ground was covered with metal and dust. Among the ruins, a small alien boy stood shaking, his voice trembling as he cried out. Again and again, my mother won't wake up. Someone please help. My mother won't wake up. His mother lay on the cold ground, her pale skin covered with dirt and blood. Her chest rose only a little with each weak breath. The boy clutched her hand tightly, tears running down his strange but innocent eyes. He was too young to understand the war, too young to understand why everyone was leaving them behind. Alien soldiers, his own people, passed him without stopping. They looked down at him, their faces hard, and then turned away. To them, the boy and his mother were only burdens, too weak to carry. The boy's cries grew louder, but no one answered. It was as if his desperate voice was lost in the smoke. On the other side of the ruins, a group of human soldiers walked cautiously. They were tired, their uniforms covered in dust and scratches. Among them was one man who heard the voice. At first, he thought it was a trick, maybe a trap set by the enemy. But then he heard the child's voice again, filled with pain, filled with fear. It was not the voice of an enemy soldier. It was the voice of a child. He stopped in his tracks. Turning his head to listen, his fellow soldiers shouted, "Keep moving, don't stop, we have orders." But the man could not move. Something inside him told him this was not just a cry. It was a call that only he had the courage to answer. The alien boy shook his mother's shoulders again, whispering to her, "Please, don't leave me. Please wake up." His tears dropped onto her face, but she did not open her eyes. He screamed. Into the smoky air, his small voice breaking, "Somebody help us, please, somebody." The human soldier clenched his fists, his heart pounding. He looked at his commander, who waved for him to keep going. But in that moment, he saw his own little sister's face in his mind. He remembered her cries when she was sick. He remembered how he had promised to always protect her. And now, here was another child, alone, afraid, and forgotten. He whispered to himself, "I can't just walk away." Ignoring the warnings, he broke from the group and ran toward the sound. His boots crashed against broken metal. His breath heavy. Behind him, voices shouted, "Come back, you'll get yourself killed." But he did not listen. The boy saw a shadow appear through the smoke. At first, he screamed in fear, pulling his mother closer to his chest. But then he saw the human's eyes, not cruel, not cold, but filled with concern. The soldier knelt down slowly, raising his empty hands to show he meant no harm. "Hey," the human said softly. "It's okay. I heard you. I came to help." The boy's lips trembled, his alien features twisted in confusion and fear. You're human," he whispered. Humans were supposed to be monsters. That was what the boy's people had always said. But this human's eyes were gentle. His voice calm. The boy did not know what to believe. "She won't wake up," the boy cried, pulling at his mother's arm. "Please, please help her. She's all I have." The soldier looked at the woman, at her weak breathing, at her fragile body. He knew it would be dangerous to carry her. He knew his own people might call him a traitor for helping the enemy. But deep inside, he also knew something greater. This was not about enemies or orders. This was about humanity. He touched the boy's shoulder gently. "I'll help you," he said firmly. The boy stared at him in shock, his tears slowing. No one else had stopped. No one else had cared, but this human. This human had chosen to listen from the distance. Shouts and gunfire began again. The danger was real. The battlefield was not yet safe. The soldier looked around, fear pressing at his chest. He had only moments to decide stay and risk death, or leave and save himself. But the boy's small hand reached out. Grabbing his arm, "Please, don't leave us," the child begged. And in that moment, The soldier made his choice. He would not turn away. He would not let this child cry alone. No matter the cost, he would protect them. The cry in the darkness had found its answer. One human had listened, and one human had chosen to act. But none of them knew what dangers were still waiting in the shadows, and none of them knew how far this single act of kindness would change the future of both their worlds. Asterisk, the smoke was still thick in the air, and the ground shook with distant explosions. The human soldier knelt beside the alien boy and his unconscious mother. His heart racing. He had made his choice, but now he had to live with it. The boy's wide eyes followed his every move, fear and hope mixing inside them. Can you carry her? The boy whispered, his voice breaking. The soldier nodded, though doubt filled his mind. The woman's body was weak and fragile, but she was still alive. Her breathing was faint, her skin cold. The soldier slipped his arms under her carefully. Lifting her with steady strength, the boy scrambled to his side, clutching his arm tightly. "You won't leave us, right?" the child asked. The soldier looked down at him and said softly, "No, I won't." Behind them, the soldier's unit shouted angrily, "Come back, you fool, you'll get killed." They're the enemy, but the soldier ignored them, his focus fixed on the boy and the dying mother. Every step he took away from his squad felt heavier. He knew he was breaking orders. He knew he might face punishment, but his heart told him this was the only path. As he carried the alien woman through the broken battlefield, enemy fire crackled nearby. The boy pressed himself close, his small hand clutching the human's belt for safety. The soldier kept low, moving between collapsed walls and shattered machines. Every sound of gunfire made the boy flinch. Every explosion made him cry out. But the soldier whispered to him, "Stay close, I've got you. I won't let anything happen." They reached the remains of a destroyed shelter. The roof was broken, but parts of the walls still stood. It was enough to hide them for a moment. The soldier gently laid the woman down, his breath coming in hard gasps. He looked at her wounds, burns, bruises, deep cuts. He was no doctor, but he could not just watch her fade. The boy knelt beside his mother, shaking her arm. "Please, wake up, please, don't leave me," he sobbed. The soldier opened his pack, pulling out human medical supplies. They were designed for his own kind. Not for aliens, but he had nothing else, and time was running out. He cleaned her wounds, wrapped bandages as best he could. The boy watched with wide eyes, whispering, "Will it work? Will she live?" The soldier paused, his hands shaking slightly. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I'll try everything I can." The boy's small fingers gripped his arm tightly, as if holding on to the only hope left. Suddenly, loud voices echoed outside, alien soldiers searching through the ruins. The boy froze, his eyes filling with terror. "They'll take us away," he whispered. "They'll kill you." The soldier pressed a finger to his lips. "Stay quiet. Trust me," he whispered. He pulled the boy close, shielding him with his own body as footsteps drew nearer. The soldiers' shadows stretched across the broken walls, their weapons ready. The human's hand moved to his rifle, but he did not fire. If he fought, the noise would bring more enemies. If he moved, the boy and mother would be caught. So he stayed still, his heart beating like thunder. The boy buried his face against the soldier's chest, trying not to cry. The alien voices grew louder, arguing in their strange tongue. One of them shouted about wounded left behind. Another cursed about useless weaklings. Then, slowly, the footsteps moved away. The soldier let out a breath he had been holding. The boy looked up at him, tears shining in his eyes. "You didn't run," he whispered in awe. The soldier met his gaze and said firmly, "I told you I won't leave you, but the danger was far from over." The woman stirred slightly, letting out a weak sound. Her eyelids fluttered, then fell again. She was alive, but barely. The boy gasped. She moved. She's still here. The soldier touched her forehead gently. Yes. But we need to get her out of here, or she won't make it. The boy's small body trembled. Where will we go? Everyone hates us. Even my people left us behind. The soldier's jaw tightened. Then we'll find somewhere safe, even if I have to fight for it. With careful strength, he lifted the mother again. The boy walked close beside him, holding tightly onto his arm. The three of them moved deeper into the ruins. Every step filled with risk. Above them, the sky burned red with fire, and the cries of war echoed in the distance. But in that small corner of the battlefield, a different fight had begun. Not a fight of weapons, but a fight of compassion. The soldier had made his choice. He had turned against fear, against orders, against the hate between species. All four. A crying boy and his silent mother. He did not know if they would survive the next hour, but he knew he could not stop now. The boy looked up at him as they walked and whispered, "Why are you helping us?" No one else did. The soldier glanced down, his voice steady, because no child should cry alone. The boy's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were not only tears of fear. They were also tears of hope the human had chosen. And that choice would change everything. But in the ruins ahead, new shadows waited, and their journey was only beginning. The ruined city was quiet again, but the silence was not peace. It was the kind of silence that came before danger returned. The human soldier carried the alien mother in his arms, her breathing weak and shallow. Beside him, the alien boy walked. Close, holding onto the soldier's arm like a lifeline. They stopped inside a broken building where the roof had caved in. The soldier laid the woman gently on the ground, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. The boy dropped to his knees, holding his mother's hand, whispering to her, "Please wake up. Please don't leave me." But her eyes stayed closed. Her chest rising only a little each time, the soldier opened his pack again. Pulling out human medical tools, he knew they were not made for alien biology. Her blood was a different color. Her skin a different texture. But it was all he had, and doing nothing would mean certain death. He cleaned her wounds carefully. Wrapping cloth around her arms and chest, he pressed medicine into her skin, hoping it would not harm her. The boy's wide eyes never left him, his voice shaking. She'll get better. Tell me she will get better." The soldier paused, his hands trembling for a moment. "I don't know," he whispered honestly, "but I'll do everything I can." The boy's small hand gripped his tightly. "You're the only one who stayed. Everyone else left us, even my people, but you didn't." His voice broke as he cried. But there was a spark of trust now, for the first time since the battle began. The boy did not feel completely alone. The soldier gave the woman water drop by drop. She swallowed weakly, but she did not open her eyes. Her life was a candle in the wind, and every moment felt like it could be the last. Then, outside, a sound broke the silence. Metal boots on rubble. Voices shouting. The soldier froze, his instincts telling him danger was close. He pulled the boy close to him, putting a finger on his lips. "Quiet," he whispered. "Don't make a sound." Through the cracks in the wall, shadows moved. Alien patrols searched the ruins, looking for survivors. One soldier's voice rang out, angry and cold, "Leave the weak behind. We only take the strong." The boy flinched, his eyes full of tears again. "They'll kill her if they find us," he whispered, his voice trembling. The soldier's hand tightened on his rifle. But he knew he could not win a fight against a patrol with only one weapon. He held his breath as the shadows moved closer. The boy hid his face against the soldier's chest, his small body shaking. The footsteps stopped just outside the broken building. One of the alien soldiers stepped forward, his weapon raised, the human's muscles tensed, ready to fight if he had to. But then another voice called out from the distance. "Leave it. No one alive here. We move." The patrol turned, their shadows fading away into the smoke. The soldier let out a breath of relief. The boy looked up at him, his tears shining. "You didn't let them find us. You kept us safe," he whispered. The soldier nodded, though his eyes were still sharp, scanning the ruins for danger. When the noise was gone, the boy turned back to his mother. He stroked her hand gently, whispering in her ear, "Please don't leave me. I still need you. I still need my mother." For a moment, there was no response, but then her fingers twitched slightly in his grasp. The boy gasped, his face lighting up with hope. She moved, he shouted softly, shaking her hand. The soldier leaned close, watching carefully. The woman's lips parted, a faint sound escaping her throat. It was not clear words, just a whisper of life. But it was enough to give them fragile hope. The boy hugged her arm tightly, crying tears of relief. "She's still here. She's still alive." The soldier placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Yes, but she needs more care than I can give here. We need to move her to somewhere safer." The boy looked around the ruins, fear in his eyes. "Where?" "There's no safe place. Everyone hates us, even my people." The soldier's jaw tightened as he looked at the smoke-filled horizon. "Then I'll make a safe place. I'll protect you both, no matter what." The boy stared at him, confused. "Why? Why are you helping us when no one else did?" The soldier's gaze softened, his voice low but steady. "Because humanity is not just about fighting. It's about protecting. It's about not letting children cry alone." The boy's lips trembled as he looked at the human again for the first time. He saw not an enemy, but something else, something that felt like family. The soldier prepared to lift the mother again, but before he could, a sudden noise thundered near Bion's explosion. Closer this time, the building shook, dust and broken stone falling from above. The boy screamed, covering his head. The soldier pulled him close, shielding both him and the mother with his own body. When the shaking stopped, he looked up, his face set with determination. "We can't stay here any longer," he said firmly. He lifted the woman into his arms once more, her weak breaths brushing against his shoulder. The boy clung to his side, his small body pressed against him. Step by step, they moved again through the ruins. The war still burned around them, but in the middle of fire and destruction, a new bond had formed. The boy no longer looked at the human with fear, but with fragile trust, and in his heart, he carried a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, this human could save the only family he had left. The ruins stretched far and wide. Broken buildings like skeletons under the red sky. The human soldier moved carefully, the alien woman still in his arms, her breaths shallow and weak, beside him. The alien boy held onto his uniform tightly, his small legs struggling to keep pace. The ground shook from distant blasts, every sound a reminder that danger was never far. They stopped inside a half-collapsed tunnel where shadows offered a little safety. The soldier set the mother down gently on the ground. Wiping sweat from his brow, he gave her more water and checked her bandages, hoping she could hold on. The boy knelt beside her, whispering softly, "We're still here. Mother, don't leave me. Please don't leave me." The soldier leaned back against the wall, his rifle resting across his knees. For a moment, there was silence except for the faint crackle of distant fire. The boy's eyes lifted toward him, filled with a question. He had held back for hours. "Why did you help us?" "No one else cared, not even my people." His voice cracked as he said it, the pain raw and fresh. The soldier looked at him for a long moment, his expression calm but firm. "Because no child should cry alone," he said softly. The boy blinked, tears welling in his strange-colored eyes. But humans are supposed to be monsters. That's what I was told. The soldier gave a faint smile, shaking his head. Sometimes what we are told is wrong. Sometimes you have to see the truth for yourself. The boy lowered his gaze, silent for a moment. Then he whispered, "You don't feel like a monster." The soldier reached out, resting a hand gently on the boy's shoulder. "And you don't feel like my enemy?" Before the boy could answer, a sound cut through the air. Footsteps, heavy and close. The soldier's body stiffened, his hand tightening on the rifle. The boy froze, fear flashing across his face. "Not them again," he whispered. Voices echoed down the tunnel, rough and commanding. Alien soldiers searching the ruins. The soldier motioned for silence, crouching low. He pushed the boy gently behind him and aimed his weapon at the shadows. The boy clutched his mother's hand tightly, his small body shaking. The voices grew louder, closer, until the glow of enemy lights touched the tunnel walls. The soldier's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. He knew he couldn't fight a whole patrolling to keep the mother and boy safe. He had to think, had to act with more than bullets. He grabbed a loose piece of rubble and threw it down the far end of the tunnel. The sound echoed loudly, bouncing off the walls. The patrol turned, weapons raised, shouting to each other. Moments later, their footsteps rushed away toward the noise. The soldier exhaled slowly, his body relaxing just a little. The boy let out a shaky breath, whispering, "You tricked them." The soldier gave him a small nod. Sometimes the smartest weapon is not the gun. The boy stared at him with wide eyes. In that moment, he saw not only strength, but wisdom. The human was not just protecting them. He was teaching him something he had never known: courage without cruelty. The mother stirred faintly, her lips parting in a weak sound. The boy leaned over quickly. "Mother, can you hear me?" Her eyes fluttered open for a heartbeat, then closed again, but she had moved. But she was still holding on. The boy's tears fell onto her hand as he whispered, "Stay with me. Please stay." The soldier placed a hand on the boy's back. "Steady." And reassuring, "She's fighting. Don't give up on her." The boy looked up, his voice soft but full of desperation. "You promise you won't leave us, no matter what happens?" The soldier met his gaze firmly. "I promise," he said. The words sharp and certain in the smoky air. They sat in silence for a while, the bond between them growing stronger. The boy leaned against the soldier's arm, no longer afraid, for the first time since the war began, he felt safe, and for the first time, he believed that maybe a human could be more than an enemy. But safety never lasted long in the ruins. Another explosion rocked the ground above them, dust raining down. From the ceiling, the soldier grabbed the boy and mother, pulling them close as stones fell when the shaking stopped. He listened carefully. In the distance, there were new sounds, strange, heavy engines. Reinforcements were arriving, and they were getting closer. The soldier's eyes narrowed, his voice calm but urgent. "We can't stay here anymore. They'll find us if we do." He lifted the mother again, her fragile weight against his chest. The boy stood quickly, determination shining in his tired eyes. "I'll help. I'll carry whatever you can't," he said bravely. The soldier gave him a small smile. Then we moved together. Step by step, they left the tunnel. Firelight glowing on the horizon. The ruins were alive with danger, but also alive with their bond. The boy no longer saw the human as just a soldier. He saw him as a protector, as someone who had chosen kindness over war. And the soldier, though weary, felt something stir inside him to a new responsibility. Not just to keep them alive, but to prove that compassion was stronger than hate. As they disappeared deeper into the wreckage, the boy whispered softly, "You're not like the stories. You're not like what they said." The soldier glanced down at him, his voice steady, then remembered this moment. "And one day, tell." A new story. The fire burned around them, But inside that fire, a fragile bond had formed. A bond stronger than fear, stronger than war. A bond that would carry them through the darkest days yet to come. The ruins grew darker as night slowly spread across the battlefield. Fires still burned in the distance, glowing like angry stars against the black sky. The human soldier moved carefully with the alien mother in his arms. The boy followed close, clutching his sleeve. His steps quick to match the soldier's pace. They found a shattered building with walls still standing. The soldier lowered the mother gently onto a flat piece of stone. Her breathing was shallow. But steady for now, the boy crouched beside her, brushing dirt from her face with his small hands. "She's still here," he whispered hopefully. "She's still fighting." The soldier sat near the entrance, his rifle across his knees. He listened to the silence outside, but his instincts told him danger was never far. The boy looked at him, his voice quiet. "Do you think we'll make it? Or will they find us?" The soldier met his eyes firmly. "We'll make it, but we have to stay strong and silent for a moment." The boy seemed comforted, but then a sound shattered the calm voices, close and angry. The soldier froze, his grip on the rifle tightening. The boy's eyes widened in fear, whispering, "It's them." Shadows moved at the doorway, and suddenly 3 alien soldiers stepped inside. Their armor gleamed in the faint light, their faces twisted in scorn. The boy gasped, standing in front of his mother, arms spread wide. "Don't hurt her. Don't take her away," he cried. The soldiers sneered, one of them barking. "You're weak, both of you, left behind for a reason." The human rose slowly to his feet, his weapon ready. The alien soldiers turned toward him, their eyes narrowing. One of them hissed, "A human, protecting them." "Why?" The boy shouted before the soldier could answer. "Because he cares. Because he's the only one who helped us when none of you would." The soldiers laughed, but it was cold laughter. "Foolish child. You don't understand," one sneered. "The human is your enemy, and so are we. Survival has no room for the weak." The boy's fists clenched, his voice trembling but strong. "No. He's not my enemy. He's my protector. He's family now." The human glanced at the boy, surprised at the word family. It struck him deeply. Stronger than any weapon. Stronger than any oath. The aliens moved closer, weapons raised. "You'll die with them, human," one spat. "You can't save them from us." The soldier's voice was low but steady. "Then I'll die trying." For a tense moment, no one moved. The boy's breath came fast, his hand shaking as he held on to his mother's arm. Then, suddenly, one alien lunged forward, his weapon flashing. The soldier fired first. The blast echoing in the small space, the alien dropped, armor smoking. The other 2 shouted in rage, firing back. The boy screamed, throwing himself over his mother to shield her. The soldier dove to the side. Firing again, a second alien fell, but not before his shot grazed the human shoulder. Blood spread across the soldier's uniform, his teeth gritted in pain. The last alien roared, charging forward. The soldier's rifle clicked empty, the magazine spent. He braced himself, ready for the worst. But in that moment, the boy shouted, his voice cracking with desperation, "Leave him alone. He's the only one who cares." The sound of his cry made the alien hesitate. Just for a heartbeat, it was enough. The soldier drew his knife and struck, the alien collapsing at his feet. The silence after was heavy, broken only by the boy's sobs. The soldier staggered, holding his bleeding shoulder. The boy ran to him, his small hands pressing against the wound. "You're hurt. You saved us, and now you're hurt," he cried. The soldier winced, but gave a faint smile. "I've been hurt before. I'll survive." The boy's tears fell freely as he whispered, "You're bleeding because of us. Because you protected us." The soldier shook his head firmly. "No, I bleed because it was the right thing to do. Remember that? The boy hugged him tightly, his small arms wrapping around the human's chest. You're my family now, he whispered, his voice shaking but certain. The soldier placed a hand gently on the boy's back. And you're mine, he said quietly. The alien mother stirred faintly, her eyes half opening. She looked at the human, blood on his arm, and at her son pressed against him. For the first time, she saw the truth her people had always denied. The human was not a monster, he was hope. Her lips moved weakly, a whisper escaping, "Protect." "My son?" Then her eyes closed again, her body slipping back into fragile sleep. The boy gripped her hand tightly, his voice breaking. She spoke to you." The soldier nodded, his face solemn. "I heard her. And I promise I will, outside." The night deepened and danger still prowled the ruins. But inside that broken shelter, something powerful had been born. Not just survival, but a bond. A human who risked his life. And an alien child who gave him trust. And together, they had stood against enemies. Not just from outside, but from within. The boy no longer saw himself as abandoned. He had someone to believe in. Someone to call family. And the soldier knew his fight was no longer about orders or war. It was about protecting the fragile hope he now carried in his arms. The night was heavy with smoke and silence inside the broken shelter. The human soldier sat against the wall, his shoulder bleeding from the fight. The alien boy pressed close. To him, holding his mother's hand tightly, she lay still. Her chest rising and falling in shallow breaths, her face pale in the dim light. The boy's voice was soft, but filled with fear. "She spoke to you." I heard her whisper, "She told you to protect me." His small fingers curled tighter around her hand. "Does that mean she knows she's leaving us?" The soldier looked at the child, his heart twisting at the words. He wanted to tell him no. He wanted to say everything would be fine, but he could not lie. Not to those eyes that had already seen too much pain. "I don't know," he said quietly. "But I know that she's fighting with everything she has left, and we must fight for her too." The boy pressed his face against his mother's arm, his tears wetting her skin. "I don't want her to leave. I can't be alone," the soldier placed a steady hand on the boy's back. "You're not alone anymore. I promised you that. And I'll never break that promise for a while." The only sound was the crackle of fires outside. The soldier forced himself to stay awake. Though blood loss made his vision blur, he cleaned his wound as best he could, but he knew he needed rest still. He would not close his eyes while the boy and his mother needed him. Hours passed slowly, every minute feeling like a battle of its own. The boy never let go of his mother's hand, whispering to her in broken words, "Please stay, please don't leave me. I'll be good, I'll do everything right. Just don't go." The soldier listened quietly, his chest heavy with the weight of it. He had seen death before, but he had never seen a child beg against it. Then, just as the boy's tears began to dry, the woman stirred, her eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. The boy gasped, clutching her hand tighter. "Mother? You're awake. You're here." Her lips moved slowly, her voice faint as the wind. "My son. You're safe." Tears streamed down the boy's face as he pressed close to her. "I'm safe because of him, because of the human." Her eyes shifted weakly toward the soldier, who leaned closer so she could see him. Her gaze was tired, but there was no hate in it, only gratitude. "You helped him?" she whispered, her voice breaking. The soldier nodded, his voice steady. "I heard him cry, and I couldn't walk away." A faint smile touched her lips, though her body trembled with weakness. "You are not like they say. Not a monster. Not cruel." Her hand twitched, reaching weakly toward her son's face. "You must live, my child. You must live, even if I cannot." The boy shook his head wildly, clutching her tighter. "No, don't say that. You'll live. You have to live." Her eyes softened as tears slipped down her face. "I will fight, but if I cannot—" "Promise me you'll stay with him," she whispered, her eyes flickering to the soldier. The boy's lips trembled, his tears falling fast. "I don't want anyone else. I only want you." Her hand brushed his cheek weakly. "Then hold him, too, for he will not let you fall." The boy turned to the human, his face torn with grief and confusion. "She wants you to be with me. If she can't." The soldier swallowed hard, his chest heavy. He nodded slowly, his voice firm. "I will protect you, no matter what happens." The woman's breathing grew weaker again, but her eyes stayed fixed on them. Her whisper was faint but clear. "Then I can rest, knowing my son is not alone." The boy sobbed, pressing his forehead to hers. "Don't leave me. Please don't leave me." The soldier sat close, his hands steady on the boy's back. In that fragile moment, he felt the bond stronger than any bloodline. This woman was giving him the greatest trust, her child's future, and he silently swore he would not fail her. Outside, a sudden blast shook the earth. The boy cried out, holding his mother tighter. The soldier grabbed his rifle, his eyes scanning the doorway. Shadows moved outside, more soldiers searching through the ruins. The danger was closer than ever. The mother's lips moved again, barely a whisper. "Go. Save him. Don't waste time on me." The soldier looked down at her, his voice firm. "I will not leave you behind. Not now, not ever." The boy clung to both of them, his tears falling hard. "Please, don't make me choose. I can't lose either of you." The soldier tightened his grip on his weapon, his face set with steel. "No one will take you. No one will harm you. I'll fight the whole world if I have to." The boy stared up at him, his tears slowing. In that moment, he believed every word. The human was more than a protector. He was a shield, a promise made flesh. The mother's eyes closed again, her whisper fading like wind in the ashes. "My son, live for me." Her hand slipped from his cheek, her chest rising only faintly. The boy hugged her tightly, whispering, "I will. Mother, I'll live, because he won't let me fall." The soldier looked at them both, his heart heavy yet burning with new fire. He had taken many oaths in his life, but none as sacred as this, the oath to protect this child, to carry the hope of a mother's last whisper. Outside, war still raged, and danger still hunted, but inside the ruins, a bond stronger than death itself had been forged. A fragile family, built not by blood, but by love, trust, and sacrifice. And nothing in the universe could break it now. The night sky burned with red fire as ships clashed above the ruined city. The ground shook, broken walls crumbled, and the air smelled of smoke and blood. Inside the shattered shelter, the human soldier held his rifle in one hand, and the alien boy in the other. Beside them, the mother lay weak, her breath shallow, her body trembling on the edge of life. The boy clung tightly to the soldier's arm, his eyes wide with fear. "Please, don't let them take us. Don't let her die," he begged. The soldier knelt, his voice calm but strong. "I promised I wouldn't leave you, and I will keep that promise, no matter what." Outside, alien voices drew closer. Harsh and cruel, they were searching, and soon they would find the shelter. The soldier's heart raced, but he forced himself to stay steady. He checked his weapon, knowing he had little left, a few bullets, too much danger. The boy's small hand tugged at his sleeve. "If you fight them all, you'll die." "I don't want to lose you too." The soldier looked at him, his eyes steady and warm. "Then listen, no matter what happens, you must live. You must carry your mother's love and my promise forward." The boy shook his head, tears streaming down his face. "I don't want promises. I just want my family." The soldier placed a hand gently on the boy's cheek. "You already have a family, right here," he said, his voice firm. "And family means we fight together, no matter how hard it gets." The mother stirred faintly, her lips moving with a soft whisper. Her voice was fragile, like wind slipping through cracks. "My son. Trust him. He will keep you safe." The boy pressed his forehead to hers, crying, "I trust him, Mother. I do. But please don't leave me." Her hand twitched weakly, brushing his arm. "You are strong, stronger than you know," she whispered. Then, her eyes closed again, her breathing shallow but steady. The soldier stood, his body tense as shadows appeared outside the broken wall. He motioned for the boy to stay low. The boy held his mother's hand tightly, his lips trembling as he whispered, "Please come back. Please don't leave me alone." The soldiers stepped into the doorway. Weapon ready, the enemy patrol entered, their weapons raised, their eyes cold. They laughed when they saw him, a single human standing in the ruins. "You think you can protect them? You think you can stop us?" One sneered. The soldier's voice rang out, steady and strong. "I don't need to stop the whole war. Why just need to stop you from taking them?" Gunfire erupted, the walls shaking with each blast. The soldier moved with precision, every shot protecting the mother and child behind him. 2 enemies fell quickly, but more poured in, their numbers overwhelming. A blast struck the wall beside him, knocking him back. Blood spread across his side, but he forced himself up again. The boy screamed, "Please don't die. Please don't leave us." The soldier's breath came hard, but his eyes burned with fire. "I won't, I promised." He growled. He charged forward, fighting with everything he had left. When the last bullet left his rifle, he drew his knife. The enemies pressed harder, but he did not fall. Every strike, every step was fueled not by orders, but by something greater: love, duty, and the fragile hope of one child. At last, silence filled the air, the last enemy falling to the ground. The soldier staggered, his body trembling, his uniform torn and bloodied. The boy ran to him, tears streaming. "You did it. You saved us," he cried. The soldier knelt down, wincing from the pain, but smiling faintly. "No, we saved each other." Behind them, the mother stirred again, her eyes opening weakly. She looked at her son, safe in the soldier's arms. She looked at the human, broken but still standing, her lips curved into the faintest smile. "You kept your promise," she whispered, her voice barely there. The soldier bowed his head slightly. "And I always will." The boy hugged them both tightly, his small body shaking with sobs. He whispered again and again, "We're still together. We're still a family." The mother's hand rested gently on his back, her strength fading but her love shining, and the soldier felt something stir inside him, something he had not felt in years. Hope outside, the war still raged. The sky still burned, but in that small corner of ruin, humanity's flame burned brighter. It was not the fire of weapons or hatred. It was the fire of compassion, of a promise kept, of love stronger than fear. As dawn broke slowly through the smoke, the boy looked up at the soldier and whispered, "You're not just human. You're hope." The soldier placed a hand on his shoulder, his voice quiet but certain. "And so are you." Together they stepped into the light, carrying with them not just survival, but the proof that even in the darkest night, one act of kindness could change everything. For in the end, it was not war that defined them. It was the bond they had forged, the fragile, unbreakable flame of family.